Hello and welcome to the BetterU podcast, where we go in depth and get to listen to stories of hope, strength, and courage straight from some of the leading health, fitness, and wellness experts who help transform lives one person at a time. I'm your host, RKaye, and today we are joined by registered dietitian nutritionist. She's also a registered yoga teacher, Prajakta Apte. Good afternoon. Yes. Hello and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure to be here as a guest on your podcast. I am super excited.
Well, thank you so much. And of course, me and everyone listening, I'm sure, are also excited to learn more about your expertise and how you help people. But of course, we shall begin with how it all started for you. What was it that made you realize that I want to help people, and it's through helping them with their nutrition, with gut health, and also by teaching them yoga?
Oh, okay. All right. So it's going to be a long story, looks like. Okay, so I am a registered dietitian and I am in Phoenix, Arizona. I am in the field of nutrition, working as a dietitian over 2 decades. I, of course, started my career in the local hospital as a clinical dietitian, and I was basically helping everybody in the hospital, no matter what their disease is, starting from weight loss to diabetes to high cholesterol to kidney problems. And definitely I gained a lot of experience, good knowledge, because that's my first job out of college. However, after about two or 3 years probably of working in the hospital, I realized that I was not getting the kind of satisfaction that I was looking for. I'm talking more about the job satisfaction after you truly help someone. And I started to think about it, like, why? And I realized that people who used to get admitted, they had a reason to come to the hospital for their inpatient stay, because they had some kind of pain, or their surgery was scheduled, or they had some kind of emergency. So I realized that nutrition is not on top of their list. That was not their choice while they are in the hospital, because they were more worried about their wounds that they're dealing with, or high blood sugar that they are dealing with, or their first goal is to recover from a open heart surgery, whatever it is. And nutrition was not on their mind. So even if I was spending time with them, they were not very keen to learn more things and make changes. And definitely that was because their priorities were different while they were in the hospital. So then I decided, how about I start my own practice where I see people who are more motivated, people who really want to come and see a dietitian, and they are not just doing this as a part of their hospital stay services. Like, you check the box out. Have you seen a dietitian? Have you seen this kind of nurse? And have you seen this doctor? I didn't want it to be that way. So I decided I'm going to start on my own. And that process was about 2 years, getting credentialed with different insurance companies and finding the business name and registering and developing the website, to finding my own office. So it was a journey of about 2 years, and I slowly transitioned from full-time dietitian in the hospital to part-time to on-call, and then eventually I left my hospital job and started working full-time in my private practice. And definitely I saw a difference where people were coming in because they wanted to make a difference in their health, because they truly were interested in making changes in their diet and lifestyle. So they were more motivated. They wanted to learn new things, and I was getting the kind of satisfaction that I was looking for. And even when I started my private practice, I was pretty much seeing everybody, because my goal at that time was to get my name out in front of as many people as I can, right? So I had not found my niche, but I would say in 2016, my husband actually started some gut problems, some gut related problems. And he started to notice that he was unable to lose weight in spite of being physically active, working with a trainer. He was not improving his muscle mass in spite of doing strength training, constantly complaining about bloating and gas and, feeling tired and exhausted. So started seeing different doctors, from primary care to different specialists, and he did a bunch of different tests. Everything came back positive, saying that, hey, nothing is wrong with you. Your labs are normal. Maybe it's in your head. But he knew, and I knew that, well, it's not in his head. He was truly suffering, and there is something going on with his health. It's not 100% perfect. So luckily, we found a functional medicine practitioner who really helped my husband, and of course me as a caregiver, the right path of healing. He did specific testing, which are functional testing, functional blood work, and he literally helped my husband find the root cause of his gut issues. And the journey with this physician was amazing, because within 3 months or so, we saw a tremendous difference in his health, especially his gut health. And he basically helped him heal completely, feel normal in his body. And that's where it was a light bulb going in my head, saying that, okay, I really need to find out more about this area. And this is going to be my niche, because I could see that how gut health is the foundation to our overall well-being. And if our gut health, our digestive health is not strong, it's not healthy, we are not healthy physically, mentally, and emotionally. So this is the foundation, and we all need to have a stronger gut health to have a perfect, balanced health. So that's how I started doing more research, took some certification courses, and started seeing more and more people who are dealing with digestive problems.
That's actually an amazing transition of a story.
Yes.
I truly like that. You were able to share that with us, and you did mention a lot about motivation, and that the people that who get to visit you to ask for your help are themselves motivated. But for you, what was the motivation for you to continue, like you mentioned a while ago, you weren't really sure what niche you would push through, but right now, what is the motivation for you to keep helping others in terms of making them more aware of gut health?
So my motivation is, when I see people transition from feeling unwell to well, my goal is to minimize their exposure, for their body's exposure to medications. And again, I'm not against medication. Sometimes they are needed, but in conventional medicine practice, it's basically a pill for every ill. You have constipation, you take Miralax. You have gas problem, you take Gas-X. You are dealing with heartburn, you have omeprazole over the counter. So what is the root cause? So identifying the root cause is very important, and that's where I help people. And that's my motivation, to kind of help people understand that you need to treat the root cause. Without treating the root cause to your problem, you're not going to find long-term solutions, because putting bandages on symptoms is not going to help anybody get long-term results. So I teach people, I help people get to the bottom of their problem and help them understand that popping pills in your mouth is not going to help you, but rather you want to focus on more natural remedies by making changes in your diet, by making lifestyle modifications, and keep your list of medications to minimum.
That's actually something that our audience, I hope, will be able to understand and really identify too, because that is true. What you are saying is true. Like every single ailment that we feel our body is going through, we just like say, oh, why I could just drink something and it'll go away,
Correct.
without even thinking that maybe there's something else that's happening in my body that's making me experience this, right?
Correct.
So as a dietitian, and also, getting involved with a lot of nutrition, and of course how it is to deal with food, is there anything specific? Because of course these days a lot of us go through the internet and we see a lot of information out there. Is there something specific that you would like to share with our audience today that you think is crucial for everyone to learn, that this thing that everyone is so joyous about is not really something that you guys should be getting into? So is there something particular that you would like to share with us?
Well, I am not sure if there's anything particular I want to share, but I definitely would like to say that minimize your intake of processed foods. I know our lives are super busy and we are literally crunch on time. Most of us cannot make time to cook daily, or even a couple times, 3 times in a week, which is okay, it's understandable, but definitely, even if that's the scenario, you can still eat healthy. And simple things is you can minimize the purchase of any food that comes in a box, because in my opinion, anything comes in a box is processed. Now if you ask me, so I am particularly staying away from all processed foods. Probably not all, but I definitely minimize my intake of processed foods. Try to shop around the perimeter of the grocery store and try to minimize your trips within aisles, because that's where a lot of processed foods are. The other thing is you can certainly focus on eating more of fresh produce, because that's natural, that has a lot of different vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and definitely that will be an important part of the food group that you want to include in your diet. I would also say that try to read the food labels, and reading food label is a art, and you really need to kind of know what things you need to look at and what things you want to stay away from. But the rule of thumb is, if on the ingredient list on any packaged food, if the ingredient list is too long, that is considered as a heavily processed product. So you want to look at the ingredient list and choose the ingredients with minimum number of ingredients in there. So the list should be smaller. Again, the first 5 ingredients listed in order, they are used in maximum amounts. So if you see, or if you read sugar as a 3rd ingredient, that product is heavily loaded with sugar. The other thing what you want to try and avoid on the nutrition label is trans fat. And they are listed if they are used in the product. And if you see that, and if you see, even if it's a smaller number, you want to stay away from those, because those are extremely bad type of fat that not just affect your heart, but it also can create a lot of imbalance in your gut health. So those are some of my tips for people who can basically take a step forward and implement them.
Those are lovely pieces of advice and tips for everyone listening today. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now,
absolutely.
I'm sure that there have been a lot of people that you've gotten to work with through the years. Could you share with us maybe a particular story of a client or someone that you've gotten to work with that you are very proud of, like one of the
Sure.
proudest moments that you've had, maybe a transformation that was really remarkable. Maybe you could share that with our audience today.
Absolutely. So this is a story about a girl with in her 30s probably, and she came to me because she came across my website, and she read the information there, and she thought that probably I am the one who can help her feel normal in her body. So she walked in my office. She was extremely frustrated. She was dealing with a lot of gut issues like bloating and gas and constant constipation. She had absolutely no energy. She was literally dragging her day every single day. She had brain fog where she did not have a clarity of her mind. She told me that she would do a lot of mistakes at work, and she was literally on the verge of losing her job because she was not performing well. She had at that point, I believe, 2 different autoimmune conditions, and she was dealing with all these problems for 9 years. In 9 years, she had seen 8 different doctors, including some specialists. She had done tons and tons of blood work. And at the end, it was saying that everything is normal. She had gained over 80 pounds of weight. Okay, so she was literally in pain. She was frustrated. She just had no interest to live, in other words. So that was her, and those are her words. I'm not making anything up. She said that I'm just here and pushing every day for my son. But other than that, I have no interest in living my life. So we started to work together. And of course, I collected some data from her. I asked her to run some labs, which were most recent, because when people are feeling this way, their labs can change quickly. So did some regular lab testing through her doctor's office, got her intake form done. I also ran some testing like food sensitivity test, which is very common that I order in my practice for my clients. I also did a comprehensive stool analysis, which basically gives a clear, candid picture of your entire digestive tract, and it reveals a lot of things which are otherwise unknowns. And those are really, really helpful for me in this case to come up with a plan for her. So we started working together and did these type of testing, got her blood work from the doctor's office, and noticed that she had a lot of issues going on with her gut health. 2 autoimmune conditions. She had a lot of inflammation. Her toxic overload was high. She had severe sensitivity to gluten and dairy and even some other foods. She had absolutely no energy, but she was just gaining weight. She had no interest. So we started to work together, started cleaning up her diet. She was also dealing with some type of bacterial infection, which definitely was important to get rid of, because otherwise she would not have healed completely. So I started some herbal protocols on her, which got rid of the bacterial infection she was dealing with within 3 months. And of course, with elimination diet, she started to feel better because most of her symptoms are gone. Now, at this point, she started to think that, okay, this means I am healed 100%, I'm normal. And I told her that, well, we have just removed that infection. We have just treated that infection. It does not mean that you are healed completely, but you're definitely on the right track. So we continued to work where I help her heal her gut. So fix her gut, create that balance between the good microbes and the bad microbes, reduce the inflammation. I gave her a lot of resources to reduce the exposure to the environmental toxins, because that was a contributing factor. We worked together developing a good sleep schedule for her and also manage her stress, because all this was causing a lot of stress, the work stress, the stress about her son, older parents. So she was really under super stress. So we worked together to come up with some stress management practices. So I would say it is a teamwork. So it's not just my job. I'm not definitely taking any credit for it, but it was on her part as well, that whatever we were deciding and we were planning for her and setting goals for her, she would complete it. She was 100% committed. At the end of our working together, which was like 8 months total, she had lost about 85 pounds. She had lost all the inflammation. She had a lot of energy. Her autoimmune condition, and none of the autoimmune conditions have cure to it, but all her markers were within acceptable range. So it was in remission. In other words, there were no flare-ups. She had no brain fog. Her food sensitivities were all gone. So basically, she started putting foods back into her diet. And honestly, she was a completely different person altogether. So if any of you visit my website, I have a video of her testimonial on my homepage. So it will be really interesting for you to listen to her video.
That is such excellent, such an excellent transformation. And thank you for sharing with that with us today. Because, a lot of people, they when they do get to think of, gut health, what does it involve, right? So at least they are, I'm sure, quite inspired by the story of your client. And guys, I will be leaving all the details in the description box, so you guys better check out Prajakta's website. Now, of course, before we wrap things up for this episode, is there any other piece of advice that you would like to leave our audience with today?
So I would say that, and again, I'm going to talk a little bit about gut health because that's my niche, that's my expertise. But if you think that you are dealing with gut problems, do not ignore those. That is something to really take care of. Getting to the root cause of the problem is very, very important. So even if you see, someone's success story, if you hear something about someone's success story on Google or on YouTube, it is okay to listen to and get a motivation, but do not follow that same protocol because it may not work for you, as every person is very unique, and that's why the healing approach has to be very, very individualized. And that is where getting to the root cause of the problem really is helpful. Make smaller changes and do not feel overwhelmed. If you consistently make those smaller changes, they are going to give you big results at the end. You just need to be patient and be consistent with what you're doing. And then the last thing I would say is, if you're truly feeling overwhelmed about all of this, if you really don't know where to start and how to start, don't waste any of your time to figure this out on your own, because it could get complicated. It is a little bit tricky when it comes to gut healing. Go see a practitioner, whether it is a functional medicine practitioner or a registered dietitian or even health coach, who has some training regarding gut health, and get their help, because those are the people who are going to help you guide in the right direction to feel better.
I could not have wrapped things up the way that you did. Thank you so much for all of that today. Now, is there something that you would like to share with our audience, that you would like to promote? Maybe an event that you're running for?
Yep, absolutely. This is a perfect time. And I'm actually hosting a free workshop on November 17th at 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Zoom. And this is about lab secrets. And what that is I'm going to teach whoever attends this free workshop is how to read and interpret your labs to identify the real culprits behind your digestive troubles and your overall well-being. Because many times I don't know if you have had this experience, but I have heard people say that um, my doctor says that my labs are normal. Everything looks good, but I know that I'm not feeling good. There is something wrong with my body. There's something off my health. So I am going to teach you how to uncover the lab truths for your perfect gut balance and total well-being. I'm going to reveal some hidden insights within the standard labs. And when I say standard labs, I'm going to focus for this workshop a lab work that your doctor orders. This is a standard lab work called CBC, or complete blood count with differential. If you have a primary care physician, I'm sure you have done this labs before many times. And if you still want to get it done, there is still time to get that. These are the simple standard labs, and I would encourage you, if you're planning to attend it, have a copy of your labs with you so that you can follow along with me well. If you don't have a copy, that's totally fine. You can definitely have a notepad to, write some notes. But I am going to actually reveal hidden insights within these standard labs that conventional medicine may miss. I want to shed some light on the true causes of your digestive issues. So you really don't have to wait until you start to suffer, until you really have symptoms, but I'm going to teach you how to identify those culprits when you are not having any symptoms. And that is what is called being proactive. And being proactive is a good thing because you can actually avoid many complications in future or later. So try to grab those things, get ahead of the game, and try to feel better soon.
All right. Thank you, Prajakta, for sharing all of that information. And again, guys, I will be leaving all of her details in the description box below. So if you're interested in working with her, you can get to do that yourself. All right. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us in today's show. Thank you so much, Prajakta, for joining us. And
absolutely.
And again, guys, thanks for joining us. And I hope you learned a lot from Prajakta today about gut health and eating the right way. All right. So I will see you guys again next week. But of course, not before I remind you to never give up on your movement journey, because it's never too late to move. Bye, guys. See you again soon.